Hi, I'm John Leroux. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I started in the martial arts quite a few years ago. Right now I'm a rank of 6th Dan with the International Karate Association. I have been certified as an instructor with Krav Maga and also in Taibo for actually 10 years or so. And my school location is in Ottawa, Canada. I have an awesome dojo there. It's great. It's about 5,000 square feet. We have great students, and my teacher in the Toronto area is Kancho Okiyama. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I guess I'm 41 years old now. I've been training in the martial arts in around 30 years, and I can't tell you how much it's been amazing for me. However, what I'm going to tell you about is recently, I guess about 3 years ago, I got married to this beautiful woman. Her name is Natalie, and Natalie and I now are both running the school together. She's doing a phenomenal job, and as for me, I'm sitting and I'm training, and we're working at developing the school. I think that gee, this isn't telling you about myself. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What should I tell you about myself? Jeez, what do I like? What are my likes? What are my dislikes? Let's go with well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm a country boy. I was brought up in the country, and my father was a cheesemaker. And my mom, actually, she sold the cheese while he made the cheese. It was it's a cool story between my mom and dad and what they've done. But for myself, I always feel my heart is in the country. I've always loved and enjoyed the country, the river, the hills, the trees, that side of it. That's something about me that I really enjoy. I enjoy animals, dogs, horses, cats. I really enjoy doing things that are outdoors, although recently, since I've had the school, I haven't done as much outdoors as I'd like to. And I've recently been married about 3 years ago now. It'll be October 18th, which was National Martial Arts Day actually in 2003, where Natalie and I were married, and now we're actually working on having a family. And how did I get involved in the martial arts? Well, I guess I've always been very energetic. I think that without martial arts, I probably would have been put up on some kind of Ritalin and lots of other kind of jump around type drugs. Anyway, right now, how I got involved was probably, my interest was through the show David Carradine. David Carradine's movie with Kung Fu was something that really appealed to me. It was kind of cool because my father liked westerns, and I liked the aspect of the boy and him learning things, and I was going through some tough times where I was a little French boy in an English community, farm community, and I was having kind of a tough time getting along, and this was something that was helpful. It was helpful for me to kind of take the high road on some things, and I think that Kung Fu kind of taught that at that time. The show that's on now, I prefer the show that the original series, especially with the old master that was blind and he could hear the grasshopper at your feet and things like that. Now, then the other person I think that was a big influence and kind of got me involved in the martial arts was Chuck Norris. And I had an opportunity to take some judo classes when I was about 12 years old, and from there it moved into Tai Chi as soon as there was a Tai Chi instructor around, which was the closest thing I could see to what David Carradine was doing in Kung Fu. But the instructor didn't have enough students. He had this older lady and myself, who was a 14-year-old boy ready to go and doing, I wanted to be much more active. I was asking, I was very inquisitive and had lots of questions, and 2 students wasn't enough for him to manage, so he had to stop. He couldn't teach anymore. So what I did is the karate instructor approached me and said, why don't you take karate with me? And I basically sat back, thought about it, said, well, I don't really want to get into this for the fighting aspect of it. I'm more into it for controlling my temper and things like that. And he kind of just sat back and he said, we have that, and karate will help you with that. So from then on, I started taking karate, and I've been involved in many arts since then. I was exposed to it through Karate Institute, which was an organization in the U.S. at the time, and that kind of inspired all different types of, we trained in Kaiju Kempo, we trained in Wushu, we trained in Ishinryu. It was interesting to see all these kind of people come together, and in fact, that's where kind of the things came together with Chuck Norris there. Well, what was my best memory in the martial arts? I think that one of the best memory I have in the martial arts is getting my flag belt. I had done so much training, and I got myself so prepared for it, and I had waited a long time as a brown belt for a long time before I went for my black belt. And it's something that it just all came together. It just was amazing. I had good friends that were there writing me letters afterwards and telling me, wow, like they couldn't believe what I just did. And well, I couldn't believe what I just did either. But that was a big moment for me. Well, I think my advice to martial artists would be under the lines of Gichin Funakoshi. He talked about in his 11th precept, it kind of went something like this. Karate is like boiling water. You must constantly add heat or it will cool. Now I love that saying because you can apply it to life. You can say life is like boiling water. You must constantly add heat or it will cool. So I'd say that's some pretty strong stuff right there. And if you just keep training, things will work for you. What's in the future for me? Well, what I believe the future holds for me is, first of all, like I had mentioned earlier, is the creation of a family. And so my wife and I are currently working on having a child, and yeah, so I'd be really excited about that. Also, we have a school, a wonderful school, and looking at developing students, possibly other schools in the future, but more really want to get centered and grounded and make sure we have something solid for those that are looking at from our own school of expanding in the future and possibly even having their own schools themselves and taking up the martial arts as a career, which is a phenomenal career, by the way. And this is something that I just want to be there to help them out, and it's the same thing as a teacher, is that you're always looking to try to make your students or help your students to outgrow you, outgrow myself. Who are my role models? My role models would be my mom and dad. I'd say there's always great people in the world that I've heard things of, great things that they've done. And like in the martial arts, for example, Chuck Norris was somebody that I kind of thought as martial artist was kind of more real than other people that I had met in the martial arts. However, then there's people like some amazing people like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, or we had one of the prime ministers of Canada, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, was kind of a really charismatic and cool man. And then there was just the thing, some of the people around me that made the most impact on me, though, have to be my mom and my mother and father. They're kind of like the yin and yang. Like my mom is so passionate, and she's real. She's got just so much fire and energy in her. And my dad does too, but just kind of uses it in a different way. And she's very kind of emotional, and in a sense that, and she's very intuition. Like she has good intuition and just a huge capacity for love. She's got a soft heart for people. Then on the other side of it is my father. a real kind of a go-getter. He was always very ambitious when he was younger, and he kept educating himself and kept improving himself and kept getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and took you know, and really became a very successful man. And I hope someday to have what he's accomplished, and I'm very proud of my mother and my father. Well, clothing statements, well, I guess since I talked about my mom and my dad, I'd like to thank them very much for bringing me into this world and helping me along the way. They've helped me so much along the way to get where I am. And also I'd like to say thank you to my wife Natalie for helping me and putting up with me at times where I may be kind of, sometimes I'm kind of difficult to get along with, but she tends to do a really good job, and she's a phenomenal martial artist, by the way. And I just I don't want to leave anybody out. There's so many people out there that have helped me, and for those of you that have had a hand in inspiring me and making me the martial artist and the person I am today, thank you very much. And I would also like to thank Firebor's for putting me on this website and taking the time to videotape me here for this. Thank you.